For 7 days, I removed every form of cheap dopamine from my life. No social media, no explicit content, no junk food, no endless scrolling, no instant gratification. And the strange part was that I didn't feel motivated or productive. I felt uncomfortable. But by the end of the week, my brain changed how it wanted things. What cheap dopamine really is. Dopamine isn't bad. The problem is how easily we can get it now. To make it simple, cheap dopamine is pleasure with zero effort, zero meaning, zero delay. Things like short-form videos, porn, sugary snacks, constant notifications, mindless entertainment. Your brain wasn't designed for this level of stimulation. When dopamine is always available, nothing feels worth doing anymore. That's the state I was in before this experiment. The rules I followed. For 1 full week, I followed a few simple rules. I cut out instant entertainment. No social media, no YouTube, no reels, no scrolling. I removed artificial spikes like adult content, junk food, and impulsive pleasure. What was left was only effort-based dopamine. Walking, reading, writing, deep work, and real conversations. Nothing extreme, just removing what hijacks the brain. Day 1 to 2. Withdrawal. The first 2 days were rough. I kept reaching for my phone without even realizing it, and time felt slower. Much slower. My brain kept asking where the reward was and why we were doing this at all. This is the part no one talks about. When cheap dopamine disappears, the brain panics. Not because it needs it, but because it has forgotten how to create motivation on its own. Day 3 to 4. Boredom becomes loud. By day 3, boredom hit hard. No stimulation meant. Thoughts surfaced. Emotions showed up. Old anxieties returned. But here's the shift. Instead of escaping discomfort, I decided to sat with it. And slowly, my brain started doing something strange. It began suggesting effort. Maybe read. Maybe organize this. Maybe go for a walk. Not excitement. Initiative. Day 5 to 6. Natural motivation returns. This is where things changed. Simple things felt rewarding again. Writing for 30 minutes. Finishing a task. A real conversation. No rush, no spike, just a calm sense of satisfaction. My focus improved. My urges weakened. My mind felt quieter. Don't get me wrong, I was still not happy or euphoric, just felt clear and more focused to achieve things I wanted to accomplish. Day 7. The realization. On the last day, something became clear. Motivation wasn't coming from pleasure at all. It was coming from the absence of overstimulation. As cheap dopamine disappeared, urges began to lose their grip, discipline no longer felt heavy, and purpose felt closer than it had in a long time. Instead of constantly chasing the next hit, my brain finally slowed down and started choosing. What this week taught me by the end of the week, I realized something important. I wasn't lazy, broken, or lacking discipline. I was simply overstimulated. Once the noise disappeared, my energy didn't magically spike, but it stopped leaking everywhere. The constant pressure to seek stimulation was what had been draining me all along. I also stopped seeing urges as enemies. They weren't signs of weakness, they were signals. My brain telling me something was out of balance. The more I listened instead of fighting them, the less power they had over me. And finally, I understood boredom differently. It was a warning from my brain that I wasn't doing enough things in my life, and my soul was seeking for more work to be done. If you want to try this, don't start with a month and don't go extreme. Begin small. 1 day without scrolling. 1 evening without screens. Maybe 1 week without artificial spikes. Give your brain the chance to remember how effort can feel rewarding again.